Hey everybody, it's Leonie here from WCKI and welcome to the start of our Sloppy Joe jersey. As you've read from your pattern now, you will know how many stitches to cast on for your back panel. Now for this one, I've casted on 89 stitches. So there you go. I'm not going to count them one by one to you, don't worry. But I've got my 89 stitches and I've just left my needle in like that. You can see that's how we cast on stitches. If you would like to just have a refresher on casting on stitches, please look at the videos. There is one that explains to you how you can cast on your stitches. But now we've done our stitches, and if you look at your pattern, oops, let me just get my pattern here. If you look at your pattern, it says now we've cast on our stitches. Now we go to our first row. RSF means right side facing. Then it says knit one, in brackets, pull one, knit one to the end. So what that means is we're going to start off with a knit one, and our repeat stitches will be what we can see in brackets, which will be pull one and knit one. So let me show you how we do that. Now the first row is going to be a bit difficult. You've done all the casting on. So the first row is a bit difficult. It is a bit tight. It goes slow, the first row. So if you're battling with your first row or it's going rather slow, do not fret. That is normal. So in order for us to do our first knit one, I will put my needle in. And can you see it comes out? It forms a V at this point because I've pushed it into the stitch. And now I'm going to bring the wool over, have it over the needle and bring it up like that and slide only that one stitch off the needle now. And there's my knit one. Now I'm going to do a purl one, which means I've got to first bring the wool around. Can you see where the wool is now? Then I'm going to go into the stitch like this. And then we'll put the yarn over the needle like that. Hold on to the yarn and pull the stitch through. Can you see the stitches on the other needle now? And now this stitch, we take that off the needle. There we go. Now I take the yarn back to the other side. I take it to the back. Can you see my little stitch that's formed there now? Now I'm going to do the next stitch, which is a knit one stitch again. So knit means I put it in like this. Bring the yarn over, bring it through like that and slide the stitch off the back. So I'm looking at, I feel a bit upside down here because I'm using these long knitting needles on camera. It's a bit challenging. I should have used a smaller piece now. But let's carry on. So now I've got to do my knit one, pull one, repeat. So here we go. Yarn, we first bring the yarn forward like that. Then we pull one. Take the yarn to the back again. And put the needle in from the front, pushing it through to the back. And we put the yarn over, bring it through, and there's our knit one stitch. Let's do a few more. So I'm going to do pull one now. So I first bring the yarn like that. Then I'm going to push the needle in from the side to the front. Now just remember, my yarn is in front of my work now. Yarn over the needle like that, and I just gently help it with my thumb. I push it through and I catch it like that, and we pull the stitch off the needle. There's our pull stitch. And now we go to the back again with our yarn because we've got to do to our work, we've got to do a knit one now. Can you see that the stitches are looking slightly different? That is a knit stitch and that is a pull stitch. Now you will see later when we flip the work over, on the flip side, this looks like a knit stitch, and this will look like a purl stitch from the other side. So let's do a knit one again. So from the front, our yarn is in the back, but our needle goes in from the front. Forms a little V, and we put the wool over, and we bring it through. We pull it off. Now we've got to do a purl again. So I first bring my yarn to the front, like that. I push the needle in the front, yarn over, bring it through, can you see there? And pull that stitch off the needle. And that is how you do a knit one, pull one, rib. There are a number of, well, there's a variety on it. You can either have a knit two, pull two, rib, but for the purposes of this Sloppy Joe jersey that we have going here, it is a knit one, pull one, rib. So as you can see from your pattern, it says your first row, right side facing, we start knit one, then in brackets, pull one, knit one, and it says to the end, which means throughout, only what is in brackets you are repeating. So you're going to knit now, or you're going to proceed now by going pull one, knit one, pull one, knit one, right to the end. So if they say to the end, it means that your last stitch will be a knit stitch. If you get to the end and your last stitch is not a knit stitch, check two things. Is your amount of stitches, are they correct? Because you have an uneven number of stitches on your needle, so make sure that your stitches are correct. That's the first thing. The second thing you're going to check is that maybe you have two of the same stitches somewhere, and that means you'll have to, unfortunately, pull it off and start again. Have fun. I'll see you at the end of my first row. And there we go. So I've now ended my first row, and it ended on a knit stitch. You can see there's my purl stitch and there's my knit stitch. Now remember what I said earlier on is that these stitches, the purl stitches and the knit stitches, when you look on the other side, they have now swapped places around, because that's how they look like from behind. So when we flip this over, my purl stitch here will look like a knit stitch or a plain stitch, and my plain stitch or my knit stitch will look like a purl stitch. So you can either say knit one, well, it's a knit row, or it's a plain stitch. It's basically the same. So if I accidentally get tongue-tied again, like I tend to do, that's what I mean. But hopefully I'll catch myself and correct it. So let's flick over the work now and have a look. And there you have it. I was going to say, what's wrong with that stitch? And there's our stitching. Can you see it is dark? It looks exactly the same this side than what it is on that side. All right, now if you look at your pattern, it will now say that your second row, you start off purl one, and then you've got knit one, purl one in brackets. Let's just see if I can zoom in here properly. It's really, there we go. So our second row is purl one, and then in brackets we've got knit one, purl one to end. So our second row we're going to end on a purl one. Now it says that these two rows will now be referred to as single rib. Continue in single rib for how many centimeters? Now again here you will go and check what is your size that you're using. I'm using number 8. I said 2, 4, 6. Yes, I'm using number 8. So I will go and look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got to have a 7 centimeter single rib ending with a wrong side row. So in other words, that was our right side row. This is our wrong side row. So on the row where you start off with purl one and you end with purl one is your wrong side row. So when you finish your rib, when you get to your 7 centimeters or 6 centimeters, depending on your size, you will end on row number 2, which is your wrong side row. So I'm going to leave you to tackle row number 2 on your own. Oh yeah. And then I will see you right over here when we've got our 6 or 7 or 8 centimeters single rib completed. See you there.